The universe is vast, enormous, huge, full of stars, planets and matter. Some of the matter is so dense that not even light escapes. We call it dark matter with Dave Navarro.
Oh yeah. Just rocking out a little Steve Vai. Give me a second. What are you laughing at?
You're adorable, bopping your head, jamming to the music.
Incidentally, a track called Dark Matter to bring you into the world of dark matter. Thank you, Darren. You can lower the music. Welcome to the show. 9 o'clock, top of the hour. Dave Navarro here. Reporting to my right is Dan Cleary.
Yo, buddy.
We got Todd Newman in the house.
To your left.
And we have Jessica Saddleberger.
Hello.
Under the desk.
And we got Darren at the console.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
Darren at the console. I love that.
It's really great.
So we are Dark Matter. We just heard a song called Dark Matter. And actually, this week, Dan and I went and saw the Bob Lazar film, Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers, directed by Jeremy Corbell.
A former guest.
And at that screening, I met George Knapp, who's a really well-known investigator, reporter, has been studying, the phenomenon of UFOs for 30, 40 years.
Broke the story of Area 51 in the first place.
That's right. And George asked me to come on his show, Coast to Coast, which is, the secret alien show, the radio show late at night that's been going on for years. And Art Bell used to host that show before he passed. And then Art came back with a show called Dark Matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long after we were Dark Matter.
You're like, thanks a lot.
But I was cool with it.
You're still going to go anyway?
I guess
You're
on
still
other
gonna
planets, they just steal shit. It's not a big deal.
No big deal at all.
Yeah. So
Knapp
but
loved you, by the way.
I had a great time with George Knapp and with Bob Lazar. Did you see that picture I took of Bob?
I did.
We reverse engineering the Jesus sign.
Yeah, it's really clever.
That was some Kubrick shit.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but we had Jeremy on here about a month ago or so talking about the Skinwalker Ranch in that film and his new film, Area 51 Flying Saucers. Dan and I went to the premiere of. And what was your takeaway?
I thought it was really interesting. I think it was Jeremy's best film yet. It was a great showing. 1,600 people showed up for the premiere, which
That's
I'm very,
amazing.
very happy for him. I believe Bob Lazar very much. I believed him since day one, and I believe him more so now. He just seems very, very credible to me.
He seems credible to me too.
And he seems like he's very reluctant to be there in the first place. He's very uncomfortable with it. Oh, really?
Yeah, I sense that too.
Okay.
And Bob doesn't like crowds. He doesn't like pausing for pictures. He doesn't like all that stuff.
Doesn't seem to like any of it, honestly.
No, he doesn't.
So you guys hit it off.
I hit it off great with him.
Yeah.
He's very reclusive.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really interesting. And then I did a deep dive into the Bob Lazar story and all the holes in the story. And it's pretty interesting. Some theories floating around out there, some alternative theories.
Do you have any examples that you'd like to get into?
One of the examples, which was one of the troubling things for me, is because there's no record of this guy's education. There's no record of him being a physicist. There's no record of college transcripts.
How is that possible?
Well, his claim is that the government erased his identity, which is possible. I believe that the government can do that on paper or through computers or whatever. But I don't believe that the government can go back in time and get everybody's yearbook and get everybody, in a college,
right?
Get everybody's yearbook back and take the pictures out and replace it with one that Bob's not in. I just don't think that's possible, and I don't think it's possible that he can't even come up with a classmate to corroborate even going there. Like, there's got to be somebody who was in a class with him.
But he
Or a
has
teacher.
people that corroborate his employment at S4, didn't he?
No.
I thought there was someone that came forward. The guy that
The Fig Pen?
Yeah,
that was
the
the guy
intake guy.
That was the guy who was corroborating the FBI raid, which I believe happened.
I think it was an S4 guy. Because the raid was recent during the film.
Right.
The Think Pen guy, Bob's been looking for years that Jeremy found. I think it was an S4 guy. S4, by the way, is the lab that he worked in at Area 51, supposedly.
Well, the alternative theories are, because of the educational problems and so forth, and the missing transcripts and all that, and this is interesting, is that it's true what he's saying, but it's somebody else's story, which is interesting.
Why would he do that?
The theory is in the 80s, which is when we were at the height of the Cold War, Ronald Reagan is in the office, and he's trying to destroy the Soviet Union by outspending them on military, you just outspent them on military, on missiles and defense, to the point where their economy collapsed. And one of the things that the government used to do to fuck with the Russians is make them believe that we were on to new technology, new incredible scientific discoveries that could be transformed into defenses.
Much like the space race, where everyone was rushing to get to the moon.
Right. Exactly like that. And back then, they needed the Russians to believe that we got a hold of some new advanced technology. And so instead of having the real guy or whoever it was that knew the information in S4, Bob was kind of like a puppet. This is the theory. I'm not saying it's true, but the theory is Bob was the puppet to be the voice and to broadcast that to the world so that the Russians would hear about it and I guess be afraid. But supposedly at Area 51, and I got this from a very reliable source, they used to go out to the runways with big stencils of weird shapes, like that looked like they could fly, and literally go out on the runway with extension cords and hair dryers and blow on the stencil shape on the runway so that when the Russian satellite came over, because they knew that the Russian satellite was coming over and when it was coming over, would see these heat patterns of these bizarre shapes out in the field.
Amazing.
That is brilliant.
And believe that we were onto something. And then as soon as the satellite would pass, they would bring out the real aircraft, which was like the SR-71 and things like that.
Right, and the stealth and all that stuff.
So that's interesting, and I believe that.
Sure. Games.
But so if Bob was in fact a puppet and just spreading a message as part of some kind of national, way to warn the Russians that we're, onto better technologies, that would explain why we can't find proof of his education and all those things, because he was selected as the mouthpiece. I'm willing to believe that, or I have more of a sense of that than I have of he is the guy, and you just can't locate anything about him until he opened his mouth.
You believe that? Okay.
You know what I mean? I just feel like if the government wanted to erase all traces of me going to Notre Dame High School, how would they do that?
Right.
There's no way they could prevent me from calling about 15 people I was in class with and go, tell these guys I was in class with you.
If they were going to go to that length, though, well, don't you think they would just kill him? Like neutralize him, disappear him?
Well, they also allude to in the documentary that it's a possibility that they may have hired him knowing he was going to leak it because they wanted to gauge public opinion on UFO existence, which is also possible.
Let me ask you two this, because you guys are way more informed than I am. Is there any theory that he himself is an alien? No, and I'm being totally serious.
There's no theory about that.
That he himself is an alien that landed at Area 51. And whatever he's doing, the leaking out and everything, is some kind of...
The glasses are a front. His vision is fine. I wish that was the case.
Because that's the one I want to come up with and make the documentary about. Like, this guy's the fucking alien.
Go for it.
But in any event, these theories and much more aside, it's a compelling film. And if you're out there and you're interested in this subject matter, I urge you to watch it. It's #1 on iTunes right now.
Oh, good.
Good for him.
So that's pretty great. And
there's one thing in it that I won't spoil what it is, but Bob for years had been talking about this particular piece of technology that he saw at S4, and Jeremy finally showed him a picture of it, And his reaction to that was the most interesting thing in the film to me.
I didn't really find that to be as compelling.
What was it?
Really? I don't want to.
We can't say.
I don't want to spoil
gotcha,
it because
gotcha.
it's
I'll
kind
tell
of,
you off the air. I'll tell you off the air.
it's just kind of a cool, neat little thing. But he'd been explaining this technology for 30 years, and he finally saw a picture, and his face lit up like a little kid. Like, this is exactly what I've been trying to explain for years.
Yeah.
And that was just like a big kind of interesting.
Or this is exactly how the government told me to react when I see this picture.
Well,
See?
there's also there's a big there's a weird thing going on in the whole in the government and with these scientists, because they're trying to piecemeal out information to the public because they're worried about some anarchistic reaction, some backlash, which I don't think. I think if anything, it would probably unify us.
100%.
I would hope. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're not alone in the universe. Maybe we should stop hating each other.
Which is what Reagan
Right.
said famously in his speech.
That's right. That's right. And but they're supposedly they're going to leak out like there is actual current life on Mars. That's coming soon. But at the same time, they're trying to. It's like the Krill papers, that were just all there to, declassify information, but also to be dissuasive about anything going on.
Anybody here have a white Jeep?
Don't have a white Jeep.
No.
Darren, you got a white Jeep?
I don't have anything.
You don't?
We meant Caucasian
No.
Jeep. Sorry.
Do you ride those little bird scooters around town?
I did.
Do you
I
really?
saw him on one the other
own
day.
one.
What?
You don't own one.
Well, Dash owns
I've
one.
taken out maybe 6 kids on those things.
They're super fun.
We were
Because you're
gifted.
texting or because you wanted to hit them?
No.
Oh,
Accidentally.
you meant take them out on dates.
Yes. there have been like 6 times where I've almost hit one of those kids.
Yeah.
Just flying off the sidewalk and into the street. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
I saw someone get tagged like 2
Oh, you
weeks
did?
ago. Yeah, it was fucking bad too.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not surprised.
How's your
Fire
car-
engines had to show
how's your
up.
car? Is your car
I got
okay?
out of there. Fucking got the damage fixed
Wait,
right
what
away.
do you mean Dash owns one? You guys just got one and you keep it here.
No, the owner of the bird company gave us a bird
Why? 'Cause if you can just like,
because we have to go to the Dream every day and
no,
do
I get,
shows.
I get that, but they belong to everybody. So why wouldn't you just like get one? Or no one pays for it.
Yeah, it was
It
given
was
to us.
gifted. It was a gifted swag.
What I'm saying is like all the birds are free to everybody.
No,
to
they're
use.
not. You have to
free,
pay
but-
for them.
Oh, you guys don't pay. Oh, good
Yeah.
deal.
All right.
Don't you have one of those scooters?
I did. It's a rough subject right now.
Why is it a rough subject?
Because it died on me.
What do you mean?
I don't want to talk about it on my birthday. It's too heavy. It's too.
By the
hard.
way, it is Dan's
It
birthday.
is.
Let's say happy birthday to him.
Thanks.
How old are you, buddy?
I'm 39 years old.
That's the beautiful age.
How come there's all sorts of awesome pictures of you for your birthday on all the Dark Matter stuff? All of our birthdays, we don't even get happy birthday.
That is interesting, huh?
You know?
Because the person that does our ad stuff.
It's Dan.
No, I don't make it. But we haven't been using her since any of us have had birthdays. So
Gotcha.
from this point forward, we will all have beautiful.
Well, we're gonna put it
animated
out
things.
there. I want to see fucking bells and whistles.
Oh, you'll
come
get
March
it.
2nd.
Let me ask if she's listening. Please don't do that on my birthday.
He hates it.
I hate it.
Just you.
She's
popping
gonna
up-
make you a little birthday hat and like.
Ask Gala, who was with me on my last birthday, and I was a miserable person. Just miserable.
That was also the day before and the day after as well, though.
I hate it. I just like my phone won't stop ringing. You know what I mean?
But you don't even like other people's
No.
birthdays.
But I particularly don't like.
In fact,
that one's on the top.
I've known you for maybe 15 years now.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the first time you've ever actually said happy birthday to me.
Because I'm with you on it.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I've never been with you on it.
Would you prefer that your friends don't text you on your birthday as well?
I would.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't text you on your birthday anymore.
You did. You never have.
Yes, I do. I
Never
every
once.
year.
Not once.
Yes.
oh
You're gonna regret that
feuding.
I am.
Yeah.
Why am I going to regret that?
because then when no one does, you're gonna be like, well, how come no one's said
No,
happy
he
birthday
won't.
to me?
I don't think
I
I
got
will.
to vouch. He won't.
I'm not
Yeah?
going to regret that.
All right.
He's not even going to know
Do you
that
get-
that's happened.
Dude, my birth date on my Facebook page is the wrong date to prevent that from happening.
But you still
Yeah.
get the messages. It's on a different day, right?
No, I keep changing it.
yeah,
When it
but you
comes
have
closer.
it. You have it tattooed on your hands.
Yeah, I understand.
Anyone
that.
can Google you.
Guys,
Yeah, Dave.
I understand. I'm just saying.
around it, Dave.
I don't like it. You know what I mean? So if you want to piss me off, send me a bunch of shit on my birthday.
It'll piss you off.
Should I
Yeah.
send
Yeah,
you like
really?
a sing?
Yeah.
We should send Dave a singing telegram.
Because I'll tell you why. Because I have been held hostage to other people's birthdays so many times.
I hear you on that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially when it's like the it's my birthday week people.
Month.
The worst. You mean girls?
It's my birthday week.
It's my birthday year.
So I don't love birthdays either, but I do get a little boost of people saying happy birthday.
Yeah.
You don't get any kind of like, oh, thanks.
No. Why?
I don't know.
Why is there one day out of the year that you're more appreciated than any other day?
Sometimes it's just nice to be seen and thought of for even a split second, even though Facebook tells you to say hello to somebody.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's like a little boost.
I agree with him though. I hate my birthday too, but I'm not as venomous about it.
Yeah.
Like if you say happy birthday, fine, but
Dave-
I do not enjoy myself on my birthday.
Dave is truly insulted by his own birthday.
I feel like I would be bummed if my close friends didn't say happy birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the
March
problem.
27th.
That's the problem with birthdays. It is
Everyone thinks they're your close friend.
Well, no. If you, because that exact point is one of the reasons why I hate them. It's like everybody expects the world to
roll out the red carpet.
yeah, you know what I mean? And if they don't, then they suffer. And I've had people make me suffer because I forgot their fucking birthday. Like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not 8-year-olds anymore.
My dad forgot my birthday when I was like 16.
Yeah, my dad forgot it
Damn.
twice.
That was upsetting.
16's a big one.
Yeah, that's like there's like 3 big birthdays in your life. 13 because you're a teenager, 18 because you're an adult, and 21 because now you're a full adult.
Well,
but 16 is huge because you can drive. Yeah, you forgot that one. Ouch.
So that's why I'm so fucked up.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm just not,
that's it.
I'm just not a fan, you know? Like, you know, if for me, then everybody in my world, like I'll have dinner, like I will go to dinner or something, that's nice. But for the most part, if I don't respond to everybody who wished me a happy birthday, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, it becomes on you.
Yeah, and it's like now the whole day.
It's pressure for sure.
Yeah.
The whole
Birthdays
day,
are pressure.
the whole day is me dancing around, making everybody happy, responding to everybody, and not doing what I actually want to do.
My move is to send a text saying happy birthday, no need to respond.
That's nice.
It takes the pressure off of having to say thank you or whatever.
Yeah,
So one way.
I texted you this morning, happy birthday. I was waiting. Like, when is he going to wake up?
Well, you texted me before 11 a.m. I'm asleep, dude.
When is he going to wake up and thank me
Just
for
staring.
being so
You
thoughtful?
just spend your whole day moping until you get the
I
text
even
back.
put happy birthday, buddy,
You did. You did. It was really friendly.
just to really make him feel the pressure.
yeah. It's
This
just,
really ought to fuck with him.
should we
it's just not fun.
should we mourn the passing of President Bush?
Did you watch it?
I thought that George W. Bush's, his
Eulogy.
his eulogy was really touching.
I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, it was
Haven't either.
pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I got choked up for
Yeah.
sure.
What got me a lot was seeing Bob Dole lifted out of the wheelchair so he could do the salute. That got me a little
That was heavy.
teary.
That was heavy.
He looks like an old man.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I walked Bob Dole's dog once.
Wow.
I was in
By the way,
Washington.
that might be the best thing you've ever said.
I was with Rob Rule in Washington D.C. and we were going for a walk for a coffee, and we come across this lady who's walking a dog, and I pet the dog and I was like, "Oh, that's a nice dog." She goes, "That's Leader. This is Bob Dole's dog. I'm his secretary." I was like, "Wow. Can I walk it?" And she's like, "Sure." And so we all walked it. And then, so I was like, how many people can say they walked Bob Dole's dog?
Just a few.
I'm one of them.
Probably less than 10.
And how
Less
many
than
people don't win the nomination and name their dog leader?
That's
right.
rough.
Somebody's going to be a leader in this family.
That's pretty good. George Bush, the dad,
Yes.
caught my mom skipping school once.
How?
My mom was in junior
Big
high or high
Bush.
school.
Refer to him as Big Bush.
Huge bush.
Yes.
80s bush.
Yeah, 80s Bush.
Caught my mom. She was skipping school with his nephew in Massachusetts, in my mom's hometown. And they were running out, and she literally ran into George Bush. And he told them, asked them what they were doing, and they explained they were skipping school, and he let them continue on skipping
She invite him back to the...
Yeah, we know what they were doing.
He's my dad.
invite him back to the pickup.
George Bush caught your mom fucking when she should have been in school.
39 years ago.
Thanks, Dave.
Or 40 years ago.
Yeah. A little over 39 years ago today, she caught him.
What's in your eyes? Guilt?
Not even. The much of shit you talk about my dead mom and me being Mexican. Fuck you.
At least she can't hear it.
Wait, that was great too. You know what I mean? You know what shit you talk about my dead mom and me being Mexican?
Fuck you.
Get it in there.
Touche. Fair enough.
At least your mom's alive. My mom can't bring anybody back to the pickup truck.
But your mom can't hear the things I say, so she's actually the winner.
That's right.
At least your mom's alive and not Mexican.
But my mom can't bring anybody back to the pickup.
Oh man, you're so right.
The bummer. If she just had that chance, Dick. You don't know how good you have it.
I'll be in the corner for the rest of the year.
You don't know how good you have it. No, you got us a great guest. Dr. Drew is out there.
Our first return guest, I believe.
That's right. I can't believe someone would actually come back here.
No one's come back? Yeah. That's impossible.
I told him it's for
Nobody's
a different
come
show.
back. Do you have something queued up?
Especially this, yeah.
We got some riveting, cutting edge questions for him.
Also, he's currently dealing with a flat tire, so he may be a few minutes late.
That's all right. We got plenty.
I get a little jealous sometimes, you know, when hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
How did the whole love line thing come about?
Can I know what the fuck that's about? Like,
You're here for that.
You were here.
all the fans have been roasting the
wasn't.
shit out of you about that.
He wasn't.
It might be if there's one line that encompasses our show.
Yeah, it's that.
either Dowshan or, but I think it's how did the whole love line thing come about.
Well, check it out because his wife was in the middle of a sentence when
And
she
I
said
interrupted
that.
her with that question,
total content,
which was a
crazy.
Wikipedia question
listen,
that I could have
listen.
just left it.
Sometimes, you know, when hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
How did the whole love line?
What?
Okay, now I know why it's funny.
So
And he's just like, well, like
I
literally
get a
mid.
little jealous sometimes, you know, when hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
how did the whole love line thing come about?
How did the whole love line thing come about? How did the whole love
I'll never live it down.
Apparently not.
I'm excited to ask him how he met Adam Carolla tonight.
We're not going to have Adam Carolla tonight.
How Dr. Drew met Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
But wait till somebody's talking.
I will.
And then ask that.
I fully plan on it.
In the middle of something important to their lives too. That was so amazing. I
can't wait.
Literally, when I posted that he was coming in, like our Twitter and our Instagram just blew up with people asking, "Please ask
guys
him
are
how the
welcome
whole
for
love
that.
thing came about."
Yo, I was like, why does everyone keep asking that?
Jess has two moments on this show. Here's the other one,
Here's the
Darren.
other
You
one.
never heard this one.
Douche hound? A douche hound? A douche hound?
So Jessica was. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead. Say it.
Play
Tell
the
us,
song. Play the song.
Jessica, you explain it.
No, you guys
Let's get
explain
the
it.
explanation, then go to the song.
Jessica was reading one of her news articles, and what was it about, Jess?
It was about a dachshund.
A dachshund, the dog, and she pronounced the fucking thing Dowshound. We're like, a what? A Dowshound. You know, the long wiener dog.
A douche hound?
All right, so listen.
A douche hound? 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 A douche hound?
It's so goddamn good.
God, that's the
That's
best.
a
funny as hell.
Dowshound? A Dowshound?
Oh God, that's a good
I
good
mean, I got a little
remix.
jealous sometimes, you know, when hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
How did the whole love line thing come about?
Think about this. Wait, stop it. Think about this. Okay. We were talking to his wife about being jealous that other girls hit on Dr. Drew, and she was being vulnerable. So listen to her. Listen to what she's talking about. Hey, go ahead. Well, what now? You started
Which
off
is
by
great
saying
for a husband.
This
by
is
the
the
way.
whole
he was a
thing.
nerdy doctor.
Yeah.
At what point? Because there was a time where he went from nerdy doctor to heartthrob of America.
I know. I can't believe it.
What-
I was totally right.
Was there ever a point where you were like, "What have I done?"
No,
What-
no,
started this-
because
You turn it up in
because
here?
it's refreshing. I mean, when people love him, it's better
Yeah.
than if they ignore him. You know,
For
like
sure.
he's obviously always popular, so it's nice. I mean, you know, I got a little jealous sometimes, you know, when hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
How did the whole love line thing come about?
What the what?
Like you were just
it just
waiting to
came out.
pounce, like for like a millisecond of silence, so you could just jump right in there.
Did you see no opening? You didn't see it coming?
We need to have a
You
segment.
know, I'm not even sure what was going through my mind.
What
at that
happened
moment.
there? I really want to know.
Well, wait.
I think I just had a question I wanted to ask, and I felt like that was the proper time to do it.
He's a doctor. We should let him hear it and analyze why she would do something
What kind of
so
person?
that'd be great.
terrible to her friends and to herself at that
was
time.
so embarrassing.
New segment, Jess's
she would-
obvious question corner.
When did you guys get the name for Jane's Addiction?
Jess's
Who's Jane?
Yeah, who's
Jess's
Jane?
obvious question corner at the complete wrong time
Yes.
to
Yes.
ask.
Yes.
So when I was young, my son passed away at a year old.
How did the whole Love Line thing come about? Well, Dr. Drew's here. I guess he's changing a flat tire.
Yeah, he's
So-
dealing with a AAA at the moment.
That's all right.
We'll get
That's
to
all
him
right.
soon.
We'll take time and
He's waiting for my questions.
One more thing
That's
about
why he
Jess's
came
thing.
back.
I was just so because Jess is such an intelligent person.
I know.
who like has inquisitive questions.
that's
and
why
Am
it's
I though?
That's why it was shocking. Yes,
Yes.
that's why
That's
it's so
why
funny.
it was so good, yeah.
Because it was so out of character. We were like, where the fuck did that come from?
like you regressed to like 5 years old for like a millisecond to
That's
ask the
strange.
dumbest question.
How did
have
the
it.
whole heroin addiction come about?
We've got it on record. And it was just such the number one Wikipedia question.
Totally.
like, obvious.
It's like a high school interview. If a high
You know what I
schooler
mean?
interviewed Dr. Drew,
Oh, guys.
Okay, I got
Darren,
my
how
question-
is it being black?
I got my questions here. Number one. Okay.
How did Jane's addiction start?
How did Jane's Addiction get started?
Do you get
Who's
asked?
Jane?
Do you get asked who's Jane?
What's your favorite song
If someone
to play?
asks me that, I really, I think that we're all equal individuals and we're all, have rights to be individual and express freedoms and thoughts and ideas, except for those people. I think they're less than us.
you're a public figure. You do a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
If you could strike one question from the rest of your life, what would it be?
The
How big
question,
is your dick?
No, the question that I would strike is, what can we expect tonight?
Oh,
That's the one
like
question.
when it comes to
Songs.
shows
With
or
any show,
Master, anything.
any show. So what can we expect tonight? I don't know. It hasn't happened yet. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. You can expect probably music, I guess. This is a concert.
Maybe a mass shooting. Who knows?
I mean, that is the worst question.
You should start
And if-
asking
and if
that
there-
question when you go out on dates.
And if there was a surprise,
what can we expect tonight?
but if there was a surprise in the set,
Why would you tell
I
us?
wouldn't reveal it either.
Would
So
be
it's
great
just-
though if you did, if you just let it out and then they're like, oh,
Our encore.
Tonight,
you asked
Perry's
what
gonna
was
shoot
coming.
himself tonight in the head.
We got anti-gravitational boots, and during the encore, we're all going to elevate.
Stick around.
What can we expect tonight?
That's a great one.
What can we look forward to tonight?
You can expect me to punch you in the
what-
fucking face.
What do you say? Like if it's
I literally say it hasn't happened yet. I have not a mind. I can't tell the future.
with your deadpan, irritated
Deadpan
face.
face, yeah. Like
that the most uncomfortable
yeah,
deadpan. When
I have
you
no
pissed
way.
involved.
I have no way of seeing into the future. Next question. Just dick answer. Because you know what, man? Because that's an unprepared question. That's an unprepared question. And it's a question they ask. Okay, so I did that show with Billy Gibbons for the Troops the other night. And there was there was a couple of press people there. And I did one interview for KTLA, which I think was great because they asked one question and I just went in the direction I wanted to. And I just got all political and just went on that whole tirade. And then the next interview, which they grabbed me, I think 7 minutes before I was supposed to go on stage. And they're just like, put me in this room. And it was just like, who are your influences?
Oh, I heard those guys
Yeah.
interviewing Billy. That was very
yeah.
Just the accent was uncomfortable for an interview.
Right. And then Billy, did you hear Billy? Like, what did music mean to you as a child? And they're like, well, we didn't have it any other
How
way.
did the whole beard thing come about?
It was just,
That's annoying.
and it's like the three questions they asked everybody who's attending the benefit. So it's like everybody's answering a boring question.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and they didn't ask about it being about the troops or the first responders or what it was really there for. It was just like typical, like, so how many years have you been playing guitar? I'm like, I gotta go, bro. I really gotta go.
I gotta tell you a quick Billy Gibbons thing from the other night in Vegas.
Yeah.
So he joined Royal Machines in Vegas last week.
Right, that's right.
And I've met him quite a few times through you, but I've never gotten a picture with him. But since I have this beard, I thought I have to get a picture with Gibbons one time. So after the show, I went up to him and I said, do you mind if we get a beard picture? He puts his glass on and says, no problem, brother. We do a picture, and he goes, hold on a minute. This is a little something we do around these parts. Pulled out a wad of cash and gave me $100.
No way.
And I was like, dude, and I said, I'll take a picture with you anytime if I get $100 for it. This is a good deal.
Are you going to spend it or are you going to frame it?
I'm going to spend it.
Fuck
I got bats to pay for.
Dude, there's new video games coming out, too.
I know. Well, The Last of Us is coming out in a little while.
Really?
I don't know if it's a date, but soon. And the new Red Dead Redemption is so good.
The new Red Dead Redemption?
Yes.
I took a picture with him at one of the Royal Machine shows. I didn't get shit.
No, you
No
didn't.
money for you.
He asked me to suck his cock. That was it.
And you did
I
it
did
happily.
it fast, and I got out of there.
But the thing is that he gave Dan $100 because Dan texts and works.
Yeah, yes,
so it's
I know.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
But I
very,
thought that's very odd. This is the way he said it too. This is something we do from time to time where I'm from.
don't get used to that move.
It's not going to happen.
I've tipped you out big time.
You have. You
Many
have.
times at
Yes,
the
you
end of
have.
at the end of a tour. A
He
little
was
500.
also very kind to Luca the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Dave introduced him to Billy, and Luca's a big fan.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Of
It
ZZ
was
Top?
the first time that Dave. Yeah, and he found them on his own. Like it's
Really?
not so. Oh, hey, listen to this band. You
Good
know?
for him.
He found it on his own. He got obsessed with certain tracks, and so Dave took him over. And Dave didn't tell him. And he's like, "Come with me."
Amazing.
He's like, "We're gonna go meet somebody."
That's so cool.
And it was the first time that Dave saw wonderment in my son's eyes because he's deadpan. He doesn't get excited about shit.
I've noticed.
He's the complete opposite of Lola. You know.
Hey, Luca. Just
Yeah.
look at me.
Hey.
Hey.
No, he just goes,
But he got legitimately. Yeah, he got legitimately.
You're his dad.
Yeah. He got legitimately starstruck by him, and Billy was so cool, and he went into the pocket too, but it wasn't cash.
gave him $5.
He was like, here's a little souvenir for you.
That was so
and he
cute.
gave him a pick.
Amazing.
Aw,
pretty
that's
cool.
so cute.
That's cool.
That made my night.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Luca will remember that. Billy is such a legend. He's
Yeah.
not going to be here forever. So
No.
I'm very happy that we've had these times, and you've got to play with him so many times.
I know, it's insane.
30 times probably?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I played with him. Well, I didn't play with him, but I played his event a couple days later.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually played with the Perry Farrell Orchestra, the Kind Heaven Orchestra. How was that?
It was cool. It came out of nowhere. Chris Chaney from Jane's Addiction plays bass in that, and he's the musical director. But he hired me just to be a bass and guitar tech, and then it asked me if I want to play one song, and one song became 5. So
Oh, you played 5 songs.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome.
So I'm in half the set, so it's cool. Yeah, it's fun.
You're in the Kind Heaven Orchestra, basically.
Kind of.
Wow.
Now you
Kind of.
now you don't have to peel them off all that cash.
You know what I love?
I'm
is
not
that,
making any more money for it, that's for sure.
You know what I love is the fact that you were going to get fired over a Facebook comment
Yes.
years ago
By him.
by Perry,
Yes.
and now me and Perkins are fired. And you're in his band.
What was the comment that you made?
I don't know if we want to get into
You
the
don't
whole
want to get
thing.
into that.
don't get into
I
the
will tell
comment.
you off
Now
the
that he's
air.
in the band, you don't want to get into
Okay.
that.
But Dave had my back huge during that.
That's right.
And you said, if you fire Dan, you're firing me, or something similar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank you
That's
for
fucking
that.
awesome.
Like I fucking need Dan. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like my right-hand man, like the guy who knows my shit inside and out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't just mid-tour like bring some dude aboard. I was like, does this sound good to you? Like he doesn't know what the fuck I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, you could do it. You would survive, but you wouldn't be as happy or comfortable.
no, your tech is your lifeline. Your tech is
How'd the whole Lifeline thing come about?
it's your lifeline, and you're on a stage with up to 50,000 people sometimes, depending on where you're playing. We haven't seen 50,000 people in quite some time. but-
Festivals.
Yeah, festivals. Yeah, exactly. And, if something goes wrong, like you need to have an eye coordination, trust, intuitive,
An
like
unspoken language.
an unspoken
Yes.
language that me and Dan have.
There's times when Dave is halfway across the stage and his solo's coming up, and he knows that if he doesn't go do the pedals, that I'm going to run out there and do it.
That's right.
And I could be wrong, but I feel like even on off nights when you're not happy to be there,
Yeah.
knowing you have someone there
right.
just helps you get through it.
A friend is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also learned to wait until there's a break during the baseball game he's watching
Which
to
he
look
does.
over
He does
and
do
get
that.
assistance.
That has happened a couple times.
Many times.
That's amazing.
Many
A couple times.
where Dan's just like looking at his phone with some MLB fucking playoff.
But you
thing.
understand.
I do.
And you let him have that.
I don't mind.
I don't know if you're aware too of how many times when I'm at the shows, I just constantly fuck with Dan because I know
Constantly.
he's trying to pay attention to you.
So there's a game that we have where every single time Todd comes to a show, when I'm tuning, he'll point to the tune and be like, "What's that do?" Every single time.
He'll tune it and the line will go a little above the E string. I'll go, no, back down a little.
good.
Down. It's just
Little games.
I have to entertain myself when I'm there, or I'll go crazy.
I haven't tuned a guitar in a very long time.
Well, that's good.
You don't need to.
That means you're doing something right.
I don't know if I could.
I bet you
could.
With a machine, I could.
You couldn't set up your gear. You couldn't set up your live rig.
My amp now?
Not with your pedal board and stuff. It's very simple.
I think I could.
Really?
Let me ask you.
I hear a challenge coming.
Ooh.
Oh my God!
That would be a
put all my gear in crates and let me have at it.
By the way, they're not crates; they're cases.
Whatever
First
the
of all,
fuck they are.
Yeah.
We got to film
we'll
that
film
now.
that, yes.
well, we have rehearsal in a little
That's
over.
a good idea.
Let's do that.
In roadie crates.
Yeah. So we'll do a whole
Is that
thing
what
with
you-
Roadie
Dave.
boxes.
Roadie
We can do a whole
boxes.
thing. You can set up your rig, everything that Dan does. You could wake up at my house and take my children to school. And deal
That's
with
part of the challenge I'm not into.
Fuck his wife.
Yeah. Go
Whoa,
ahead.
whoa, back up. I'm into it again. So here's the thing. I'm going to ask you. So guitar, cable goes into the wob pedal,
Yep.
out of the tuner, into the input.
You're already wrong.
That's not true. I'm right.
No, we got a splitter box for your Jane's rig.
I'm talking for Royal Machines.
Okay. All right.
So far, I'm
Sure,
right?
Take the
Yep.
easy setup.
Yep.
Take the thing, the cable out of the tuner, put it in the input of the head, put the speaker cable, not a regular cable.
You know the difference?
No. I know that if you unscrew it, you can see a difference, but I don't know what to look for.
You can see it on the actual piece too.
What is it?
There's different lines on a speaker cable.
What different lines?
Different indentations.
Okay, so that I would
Drew's
look
here.
for that. I would look for that cable, and then I would go out of the the head, you would call it, right?
Which would you plug into in the back? Which speaker jack? And what ohmage would you use?
I use 8 ohms.
You don't.
I use 16.
You don't.
What do I use? 4?
4.
I use 4 ohms.
Do you want to
hook your
run?
vape up into the thing?
Do you want to run the cab in mono or stereo?
There is no stereo,
Wrong again.
but it's one sound. How could it possibly be stereo?
Some people run mono. They want to run 2 speakers instead of 4.
Right, I understand, but how could one instrument produce a stereo sound?
That I don't know, but I know there's 2 different inputs for it. I know there's options.
It can't.
It can.
There's no way.
It is boring.
By definition, you would need 2 tracks for it to be in stereo. And
I
there's
don't
only
know.
one input.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just busted him.
You didn't bust shit.
Blew your Lazar theory wide open.
I think this is a good time to take a break and get Dr. Drew in here.
Okay, apparently he's done with changing a tire.
It seems that way.
He could also change your kidney.
That's right.
Which is more handsome? Which is more attractive?
Well, it's hard to say
grease on his
because
hands or blood on his hands?
well, because the grease on his hands is manly, so that's attractive. But then, the amount of,
brains and knowledge.
brains and knowledge, yeah, and obviously, follow through to become a surgeon. I mean, he's a surgeon.
We have 4 women in the room. What's more, by show of hands, what's more attractive, the mechanic or the doctor?
Surgeon.
The doctor, surgeon.
Surgeon.
It's 4-0.
Well,
surgeon.
they're all basing it on how many purses they could get out of the deal.
Well, let me
and there's
ask-
not many out of the mechanic.
Is there a
Grocery bag.
There's a
difference?
lot of extra cleaning.
Is there
if
a
you're living
difference
with
in the
mechanic.
dick size of the mechanic and the surgeon?
There's only one
The
way to find
surgeon has
out.
the cash and the knowledge, but small dick.
But the surgeon has the
The
ability to make
mechanic
his
is
own
an
dick
idiot,
bigger.
but has
It's
a
okay.
huge cock.
It's okay. Nobody wants a huge cock, to be honest with you.
My wife does. She is very upset with me.
Apparently. There you go. I love how your wife at the premiere was upset that you were upset.
What do you mean?
That she was like, Dan doesn't like to wait in lines.
Oh yeah. I don't. I'm spoiled. I don't.
I can't believe that.
There was
He was like, you wouldn't wait in line. I was like, yeah, I would. I waited in line for the fucking David Gilmour movie.
You would not have waited in line for this.
I guess I would have.
Riffraff around 2 blocks.
But there was riffraff at the David Gilmour thing.
I'm just saying.
And I waited.
We've waited on Rocky Horror.
By the way, also
I waited in Rocky
riffraff.
Horror Lines at fucking 1 a.m.
That's cute and all, but listen, there was
no entitlement, like a fan.
There was a misunderstanding between Jeremy and myself, which is what got me so fucking angry. I will never support another thing that fucker does ever.
He's so upset.
You were really mad at him?
Furious. Like I told Dave, I'm fucking bouncing. This guy can have a great premiere by himself.
I wouldn't let him bounce.
Yeah. I was pissed.
You'll
He
have
was
to tell me
almost
about
pissed
it.
at me.
No, I wasn't. You thought I was venting to you, but I was
see.
not mad at you at all.
Okay.
I was envious because you were up with Lazar, and all I wanted to do was shake that guy's hand. And Jeremy told me to come down early, come meet Bob, then we'll watch the movie.
What do you want to shake that guy's hand for? He's just a stooge for the government.
That's what you think.
He thought that you were with 6 people.
Well, he could have asked me that and said, hey, 6 is too much.
That's right.
I never alluded that I was with 6 people.
You put 6 people on the list.
Correct.
That's right.
And also, Jeremy has never done an event before, so he doesn't realize.
Are they
that
humans
guest list-
or lizard people?
We'll never know.
So
and he was like, because he was texting me on the way over. I was like, I'm coming. He's like, okay, cool. You and your crew can pick up their tickets. And I'm like, I'm not with a crew.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, Dan says you have like up to 6 or 8 guests. I'm like, no, I don't. Well, that's not true at all. And he goes, oh, well, come on up. That's exactly what happened.
I get it.
So you almost...
Yeah, but you told me that he said, come on up. I don't want Dan around.
Yeah, but that... Don't
So you just blew up his spot, dude.
say that.
So he wouldn't let you go.
He didn't say that.
He
No,
did.
I'm just kidding.
I said I'm here, and I got a copy-paste response that he probably sent to 5 other
Yeah,
people.
I got the same response.
But I was told, come early, come up and hang. So I get there earlier than he told me to get there, and he's like, just wait with everybody else, basically. I understand what happened. Doesn't mean I can't be angry. And then once we got in there, I even told you, I'm putting my anger aside to support his night.
He did.
And I got cool.
He did.
Great.
You're a pussy, dude.
But I like the fact that
left in a huff.
both my best friends are more entitled than me. Because
Todd,
Todd,
how did I get?
you
this
just
whole
said your
fucking
same thing. I have to admit, we were just having coffee. You go, I gotta admit, I'm entitled too.
That's
Didn't
my.
he?
Wait.
You're
He
entitled
just
to
said it.
That's my off the air persona, not my on
Oh,
air.
excuse me.
On air, Todd's very humble.
Todd's very humble.
No, but I did say I'm so entitled, but I would have just fucking left. I wouldn't have even. You're a better man than I, because the whole I'm gonna put my anger aside and support his cause. I'd have been like, fuck this cocksucker,
Right.
and I would have stormed off. And that would have been
if the movie was a subject matter I didn't care about, I probably would have left. But I really did want to see it.
But that's crazy because when I was telling these guys, when Moby and I went to see Adam and the Ants, we got strong-armed at the guest list. You're not on the list. Who are you guys? But like the arm went across.
Whoa.
And we were just like, okay, well, we'll text Dark Friend and we'll wait here. Like we weren't like, hey, we're these musicians.
Oh, I didn't pull up. I didn't get irate with the door guy that wouldn't let me in either.
There was actually a thing that just happened recently where I took you to something and then you were like, I'm not on the fucking list, so you just left.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. If somebody's birthday, somebody's having like a shindig, a private shindig, and they're like, come down, it's so important to me, you're on the list, I can only get 20 people.
Oh, God.
Just come in, please. And it was a birthday, fucking exactly.
Yeah, it made me fucking drive out of my way
exactly.
to go do
I
it.
fucking
which I
showed
would
up
for
for
him.
this fucking girl's birthday, and guess what?
You
Not
weren't
on the list. Not only
kind
that.
of a blessing in disguise.
Well,
They were up there looking out the window
Regardless.
laughing like he fell for it.
It's a blessing in disguise, but it gave me justifiable anger. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
It's like I didn't want to go anyway, and now I can be mad and be justified.
Right.
And so I sent her a picture of me in the lobby trying to get in and sent it up there, and like the door guy didn't recognize me, and I'm not going to pull some like, well, I'm.
You can never do that. That's a
you
lame
ever
move.
watch Ink Master? I'm on that show.
Do you remember Carmen Electra?
I used to know her.
How did the whole love life thing come about?
So I just bailed. But like, it's the same thing. I wasn't like all pissy and entitled about it. I was like, this shit happens.
Yeah.
Because even my cousin John, the last Jane's Addiction show at the Palladium, I said, guest list, all access, blah, 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 blah. And Taylor or somebody just put him on the regular list and he couldn't get back to me and he was just like fine about it. I'm taking it you wouldn't have been.
No.
Okay.
No, I've gotten a little spoiled.
All right, let's get.
I understand.
Let's end this conversation and let's get him in.
Okay.
All right.
We will be right back.
This is Tom Morello, and you're listening to Dark Matter Radio.
In the studio, joining us now is Dr. Drew himself.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Nice to see you.
Finally broke away from my flat tire.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. But
Yes.
you called AAA, handle it, it was done.
Yes, done. Nice.
Done. What kind of car do you drive?
It's like a Porsche SUV kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it was nice. And
Okay, so
it's my wife's car, actually.
Okay.
Guy's a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm a Porsche guy myself.
Yeah.
Isn't there those cars are very temperamental, and you can't just call any random.
No, you can, but it's even worse because I was riding on just threads on these tires. The leased car, I'm going to give it back in a couple of months. I'm like, I'm going to make it to the end of the lease on these tires.
Yeah. Didn't work.
Oh, I'm so pissed.
Oh,
I'm
man.
so mad at myself.
Well, don't be mad at yourself.
I'm mad at myself because I needed tires 3,000 miles ago, and now I have a flat tire.
Well, welcome back. I mean, I can't believe that you decided to come back after the last experience here.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I thought you came on our show, and then I just never heard from you again.
Are we allowed to swear on this
Yes.
show? What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just being fun. But we are thrilled to have you back.
It's happy
welcome
to be
back.
here. I'm always happy to be here.
And it's also really timely because, as you know, we just did things. We're in the holiday season.
Yes.
And that is the season typically
of depressed affect.
Depression.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
And I'm feeling it a little bit myself, and I'm wondering where that's coming from. Like, what is it about the season that brings up mental health issues?
Well, I will start with something not obvious and uncanny that I noticed back when I was a resident. Shit would go down around the holidays. It was the craziest thing. People would come in with cancer presentations.
Oh, really?
GI bleeds, things that don't have anything to do with anything. But it would all come crushing in right around the holidays. I don't know if people put off, just like me with my tires.
Yeah.
And then things fall apart, but they don't make it to the new year. But it would always come, and people would call me from out of the blue with random and bizarre questions and requests. This is always the 3 weeks around Christmas. So there's that. There's some sort of uncanny seasonal something that happens to us as human beings.
Is there any truth to if you're working in, like, say, ER or
yeah,
like the trauma, trauma intake? Is there any truth to the full moon theory that things do get a little ramped up?
It seems like it when you're out there. You swear it does make a difference. But I worked for 30 years in a psychiatric hospital, and we would joke about it, because I used to do call there too at night, and there was an uncanny presence.
But isn't it interesting that you worked at a psychiatric hospital and the loon from lunatics is based on the lunar movement?
That's where it comes. So there's something there that goes. And maybe it's all just statistics. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything. It's just these statistical sort of patterns that develop. But the other issue, obviously, is we're drinking more, we're using more, we're stressed out about it. Family, we're stressed out about year end, we're stressed out about
money.
Money, that's what I'm saying. We're stressed out about FOMO, or now with social media, we have envy, and everybody else is having a funner time than I am. So there's a million other reasons that make us feel horrible.
Yeah.
Welcome to Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
I mean, the social media thing you tapped on, and I know that you and I have talked about that quite a bit.
Dude.
It's the worst. It's getting worse and worse.
It's getting worse.
And I'm just as bad as anybody else.
In terms of the envy and the FOMO and stuff?
No, not so much that.
Just showing the good side kind of thing?
Well, no, because in my description, in my bio, I say that. I say, these are pictures I'm comfortable with showing you guys. However, don't be fooled. I still feel all the feelings that you do and have all those moments. This is just a slice of life. Because I want to be honest about it. Like, it looks like my life's amazing, and most of it is, but I still go through human.
You still don't really want to be me.
Right. Yes, exactly. You don't want to be alone in my head. Let's look at these. Like, if I could put a picture of what's in my head, no one, I would be unfollowed by everybody.
Oh, nice.
But
boy, that's a TV show.
Yeah, I know, right? That'll get picked up immediately. But do you see this? Okay, so now we have Facebook kind of under siege because it's just
thankfully,
and there is a senator-elect that just came out that is going through like different bills and laws.
Yeah.
And that Google, Twitter, Facebook, Apple all have their freedom from prosecution if they attempt to suppress information.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So these big corporate
things
structures,
are going to shift. They've been getting away with a lot for a long time. Things are going to shift. But more, I'm concerned about how people are behaving on these social media platforms.
Yes.
That's my biggest concern. This sort of mob behavior. This was something you and I have talked about before. That has gotten worse. And I really think we're entering a period of history that is unusual. I mean, there have been other periods like this where mobs have formed and done horrible things.
Of course.
We're going through something similar.
I think so.
Yeah. And it's I sort of throw it under the kind of narcissistic term that we all are sort of, all of us have certain more narcissistic traits than in maybe hundreds of years past.
For sure.
And as a result, we are liable to envy. We're liable to aggression. We're liable to acting out on other people or not valuing other people's emotions or not valuing even our own emotions at certain times. And so that's a perfect formula to, if you give people a nice big town square and something to point at, they'll do it.
Yeah. But I mean, in another way,
I'm just full of good cheer this year.
Yeah.
This is
well, no, but this is
good to talk about.
This is real stuff because I actually think it is good cheer because the listener who is, has FOMO or is envious of, maybe you can hear us now and say, listen, it's not just you. Everybody's going through this.
Everybody's going through it, and the answers are all the same in terms of avoiding it and healing it and getting better from it, which is the real source of meaning in life and filling those holes in ourselves are other people and close relationships and being close and being of service to other people and having some sort of spiritual it's all the stuff that we always talk about.
Yeah.
And it's the solution to all these things, but I don't know, people are fearful of even entering the frame of closeness with other people because they're not accustomed to it.
Well, it's crazy being, I'm at my age, 51, seeing some of my friends' children, watching them be born and grow and then now be on Instagram and being like, I can't follow my bass player's daughter. I can't because it's
totally, yeah.
It's, you know what I'm talking about. It's like we're seeing kids that we grew up with as children.
How old are they now?
They're like 16, 17, 18, and they're doing all the stuff. I have people that I work with people that are experts in kids and social media, and they themselves would not let their kids use screens at all more than about 2 hours a day. That's really smart,
and that's it. And they're monitored. It's hard, man. It's hard when they're all on these screens, and that's part of their social fabric. I don't have an answer for it.
I fall guilty of it, because my son, who's 12, is a gamer, and I allow him to play at certain times because it's really, other than being at school, it's the only socialization he's getting because they're all on together.
Yeah, headsets and everything.
Yeah, I hear them laughing and making jokes and they're talking, but if he's just sitting there, well, can I play my phone? No, you can't because that's just him and the screen.
I get it. And to be fair, how is what he's doing different than when we were 12 and used to just hang on the phone with other people and just talk to people on the phone?
Right.
They just happen to be sharing an experience while they're talking to each other on an electronic.
Well, I also think that gaming with friends is a little different than trying to create this false persona to put it out in the world to make yourself feel better. I mean, he's not doing anything that's based out of narcissism or low self-esteem. He's just having fun with it.
No, he's just lowering my self-esteem
that's
as a father.
That's okay.
And to be fair, that age group around where your son is seeming it's another generation. They seem to be turning again, and they're turning against fame, which I think is good.
I do too.
They're turning against.
How so? How is that happening?
They're literally saying things like you'll hear them say, "I want to be a performer so long as I don't become famous." When if the millennial and Gen Xers, fame was the goal, whatever they were doing. That's what they were just motivated by that singularly. And I think this next generation learned how empty that was.
Wow, that's big.
I think it's also that's all those YouTubers that are famous are of that age right before this last generation.
Yes.
Oh, right.
And because I know my son and them do look at them like douchebag,
really?
like the YouTube guys.
True.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of that. Yeah, and yet some of them are making $12 million.
It's insane. It's insane.
Stop being a douchebag.
Yeah.
Do children or teenagers or kids experience seasonal depression?
Sure.
do.
It's different. I mean, depression is very different in adolescence, very different in childhood, but certainly there can be. We're all prone to these. The light cycles affect our brain functioning, right? And if you have any tendency towards that, it becomes more pronounced. Really, major, at what we think of as depression and anxiety, that really comes on at 18 to 22. That's when actual, psychiatric.
Oh, is that right?
That's when the stuff we think about as psychiatric illness comes on. But there are plenty of adolescents that are depressed. Plenty of adolescents have.
Well, that's also
anxiety.
the age where you start to reflect and realize that certain things that happened to you in your childhood weren't always the greatest things, and then now you've stuffed them that long, and now they've surfaced again, and that's what happens to me. And I know that I start feeling a little funny around the holidays because there's family dynamics. Then there's
loss comes up then too.
Loss and melancholy, for the past, and like
and nostalgia
and mortality of the future. Like at this age, like, oh my God, it was just Christmas 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Awesome. I didn't quite bring us down far enough. Dave's going to take us all the way.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like, how many more of these?
You're
I
only
got
here
left?
once every once in a while. I get it every day.
How many more of these do I got left? And then even the kids.
These shows particularly, or
no, Christmases.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like who it comes, and I'm like, oh my God,
This could be my last one.
Really relish this one.
Well, on my birthday every year, I post thanks everybody for reminding me I'm 1 year closer to death.
Yeah.
It's
I will tell you though. Let's try to flip this a little bit. The one emotion that I don't see enough of, and it's sort of taken from us by all the fear of missing out and the envy and stuff, is gratitude.
Yes.
And when people express gratitude, I know they're kind of in a good place.
Yeah.
They may be they may be struggling in certain areas, but when somebody can genuinely feel grateful on a regular basis and they'll talk about it and express it, I know that person's fine.
Yeah.
And it's, if you think about, religious practices, there was a lot of, I'm grateful. Thank you for this. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Thank you for our blessings. We don't even think about that anymore.
No.
We're ingrates is what we are.
Yeah, which is really, really true.
Yeah.
It's really true. You brought up religious practices, and I go back and forth with people on this, and I don't know what your viewpoint is, but I've never had a problem with any of the world's religions.
What do you mean? Me neither.
Okay.
Well, I haven't a problem with how they've treated each other.
Exactly. What people do with it is the problem.
Yes.
But a spiritual practice, like, I have no problem with someone being a Christian. I mean, that's the thing I want to get at, is that it seems with the social media thing and with the Instagram and the Twitter and all that stuff, like, you can say whatever you want without any.
Well, that's the problem.
Any pushback.
There needs to be some pushback.
Consequence.
And it may be people starting to bring in libel suits or something. There's got to be something, because the people that own the platforms are being irresponsible. They're
but it's starting to infringe upon our freedoms of expression. I mean, because when you freedom of speech or freedom of expression and you say something that people don't like, you will get persecuted for it.
You could have your life could be ruined.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. For misuse of a word, not even misuse of words, stumbling over a word, or somebody's idea of how you use a word.
That's right.
There's not just thought police. Now we have word police.
Oh yeah.
All over the place.
It's crazy.
And it changes. It's a moving target. You got to watch out.
Oh, I know. And so that's why I never tweet when I'm drunk or on LSD. I refuse.
It's a good policy.
Very, very good practice, Dave.
Good policy.
But it really is getting to the point where, and I just did this benefit the other night for our troops, the military, and I was thinking, man, and before the show we had a trauma panel, a discussion that I spoke on.
So a PTSD thing.
Because a lot of those guys come back with PTSD. And I said, like, these guys are out there fighting for our freedoms, and you guys are out there fighting for our freedoms. And one of those freedoms is freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And then you put your life on the line, and if you're lucky enough to make it back here and see where the world is in terms of division, I mean...
Got to break their hearts.
You're fighting so I can have my voice.
Yeah.
And I can't have it.
No. It's really weird.
Especially in our line of work where we're visible, it's like we're going to be crucified.
It's uncanny.
Actually, if you accidentally say the wrong thing, or whatever.
And by the way, an apology, because outrage and what's the other sort of emotion? Just outrage. Outrage is the greatest currency people have going.
Outrage is the new black.
People love being offended.
Yeah,
love being offended.
That's what I was looking for. Offense, outrage, and virtue signaling is how you gain status.
Yeah. Outrage is the new black.
Yeah.
No offense, Darren.
What did you just say?
I think no. What are you talking about?
I was making a joke.
Oh, okay.
No, you aren't. That wasn't a joke. That's very.
He made the
Todd,
joke.
get out of here.
He made the bad
I'm
joke.
offended by you, Todd Newman.
I was making a joke. He's trying to lay it on me now.
I can't believe this guy.
Yeah, whose career should I end
Can't wait for
tonight?
these guys to get their show rolling. You know what I mean?
We can get the playback.
But yeah, I mean, so do you feel like we're in danger of our freedoms being?
They already are. What are you talking about?
I mean,
you
I
can't say anything. You can't speak. You can't have dialogue.
No,
I
you can't.
But I'm hoping. I'm an eternal optimist. I'm assuming it will go back. I just don't know the road back.
But will it in our lifetime? I mean, that's the
I
question.
think so.
Because,
but your next Christmas may be your last, Dave. So who knows? So maybe not your lifetime.
But I wonder, like,
Play your cards right.
So say whatever the fuck you want.
because that outrage being so popular, why is that? Is it because now if we express outrage,
I think it has something to do with what I was talking about earlier with that gratification of being in a mob.
yeah,
And having a target. You have somebody you can bring down to size. That's envy.
yeah.
And so
And people are getting famous for it too.
Yeah.
They're getting to be in headlines. They get to say that I ruined this person's life. And
Yeah.
Is there a sense of purpose attached to that you think?
I'm sure people would say so that do that.
Right.
But I can't. It just must. How does that feel good?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I mean, I remember, and I say this all the time, growing up with my dad, who is a Republican, and I would see him and Democrat friends
Talking and chatting
and going to lunch and going to
Yeah,
dinner,
yeah,
and they
course.
just think, they had disagreed politically, but they were friends. Like,
Yes.
that's the way it used to be, and I don't. And
Because we had a common sort of attachment to American virtues and values, right? And the system that was created. But I think that even that is being sort of looked at disdainfully because it's all white male patriarchy and none of it's any good anyway. So
Right. And do you think that the current administration is as responsible for the state of divisiveness that we're in?
I think that administration has created the acuteness of it. It has come to the surface because of him.
Yeah.
But it was there. I mean, the people that sent him in because they were reacting to the thought police. Right. They don't care what he does. As long as he's a stick of dynamite, they're keep going, keep blowing things up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We've lost our way.
I know, and it's so hard for me because I have such high respect and esteem for The Office.
Yeah.
I
have this feeling that it's not going to come from our leaders, I don't think. I think there's got to be some sort of cultural move, and it comes in the zone of apologies and forgiveness. And because of social justice warriors and things, I start to think about things and I think, oh my God, I got that wrong. And then I feel just embarrassed. And then I want to apologize. And I thought that should be healing if more people did that.
Be. Yeah. And when that Kavanaugh thing was going on and the questioning, and I said it here, if that guy just said, look,
I know
we were underage kids, unsupervised, and we were drunk, if I cross the line, I'm sorry.
But
it's
I think
possible.
people are have been fearful of doing that. They're afraid of the crowd. They're afraid of the mob. They're afraid of the consequences. Afraid of losing their jobs. And I think we've got to find some higher plane to operate from, where we get it together again.
So who are the people that you look to that are speaking that language that people can?
I don't see much of it.
Yeah,
you. Right now, we're talking about right now.
I'm trying to make it an issue.
Me too. And so I sort of feel like it's got to come from many sources.
I say President Pinsky.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, yeah,
Vice President Navarro or President Navarro?
Oh, I'd do it. I would do it. Yeah, you need a Mexican on the ticket.
Yeah.
It's a surefire way to get in there. That's for sure.
You're in.
They don't want you to get out, so they take him so that
there you go.
We keep him in office because we don't want Navarro taking over.
We want the Mexican in charge.
He'll be your Pence.
Tear down the wall.
My first point of action would be tamales at all Christmas functions.
Oh my God! Yes.
National food is now tamales.
No, for the Christmas food. Forget the turkey. The tamale.
That's what Mexicans do.
Yes.
I'll tell you a story. When I was 7 years old and we had a Christmas, we went with a traditional Mexican tamale dinner, right? And I was 7. It was my first tamale. And I didn't understand that it was wrapped up in a corn husk.
You ate the corn husk.
I ate the corn husk. And I was like, this is terrible. I hate this. Why do you guys like these? And my mom came over and was like, oh no, honey, you have to take them out of this.
It's like eating a Twinkie with the wrapper on
Your
it.
white mom had to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm imagining your motorcade is all lowriders right now. I would love that.
That's right. That would be beautiful. But I mean, I have my problems with the administration and what's going on now.
Sure.
But if something happens that I agree with, I can't even express that.
Yeah, I know. I don't care. I think I think we need like a new, well, I don't know about a new party, but something called like the Pragmatism Party.
Yes.
Like what are think about the state of California and how, and even the city of Los Angeles, how they're not attending to the citizens.
Right.
There are people languishing in the streets by the hundreds of thousands. The traffic is, why do you think I got a flat tire coming in here? The roads. Yeah. You can't even drive on the roads. And traffic is so bad you can't get from one point to another ever.
Exactly.
And what are they worrying about? He's running for president. He's worrying. What are they doing? What are they worrying about? Things that don't matter to people that are trying to live in this town. The housing part. You just go right down the list. Transportation, need more trains, need more everything. They're doing none of it.
Well, I mean, as soon as they open up those borders, that problem ain't going away anytime soon.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And it's like, that's the problem that I'm having, is that it has turned into this, like, I believe that we should have strong borders. Yeah. I believe that. It doesn't mean that I don't think that someone should come for asylum. I don't think that, it's not a racist statement. I just don't want.
Well, go face down the federales at the Mexican border with the machine guns if you want to go in there.
That's what I was saying.
And if you'd like to go to Canada, good luck.
Good luck.
Harder, yeah, even harder.
So I've suggested to a friend, what we got to do is we have these. I cannot live with the way the homeless are treated in this town.
Exactly. Like, why aren't we taking care of that?
Darren here was homeless for a little while. Yep. Our engineer here was homeless for a little while. Yep.
And but if you're motivated, you can find some services that can help you. Did you find anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're not motivated, or you're a severe drug addict, or you have chronic mental illness, and the illness makes you unable to be motivated.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of the people just don't want the assistance.
Correct.
Nor do they want the government in their life.
That's part of the illness, though, that makes them not. And when you get them better, they're pissed and looking back. So I told my friend, what we got to do is take 1,000 homeless folk and for sure a bunch of heroin addicts, and they need asylum. They're being mistreated in this town. They're being abused. The cops mistreat them. The city's been mistreating them. And they need medication-assisted treatment. And they have heroin in Vancouver. They give you heroin.
I know they do.
So take 1,000 of these folks. Let's seek asylum in Canada.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
See how Canada deals with it.
They're not going to take them.
Of course not.
Not going to take them. I can barely get into Canada.
And they need what Canada's got.
I know. I know. I mean, I spent a lot of time downtown lately.
Yeah.
And the homeless scene out there is crazy.
It's out of control.
It's out of control.
I mean, with the whole gentrification of the city, and they made it more beautiful and more powerful.
Yeah, but every city is getting more beautiful and more urbanized.
Right, but they never went anywhere. Like their whole plan was to kind of clean up that area, and they just stayed there.
Right.
So now it's beautiful with Tent City. You know what I mean?
Here's the solution to that. Yeah. All they have to do is expand conservatorship a little bit and expand the definition of gravely disabled, and all the languishing will immediately go away.
Yeah.
It'll be people that are struggling and need services that want services, and it'll be people sort of in between, drug addicts and things, and you'll be able to help everybody else.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, and that is one thing that I bring up a lot.
It kills me. But of course, people don't know how bad it is in Los Angeles, right?
No. It's really bad.
People in Los Angeles don't know how bad it is in Los Angeles. That's another problem.
You're correct. But where's most of your listenership? Is it any particular part of the country?
No, it's global, so I don't really know.
But let me tell you, to those of you that are not living in Los Angeles, it's unconscionable what's going on here.
Yeah. I know.
Do we know?
It's a breakdown of civilization. And by the way, just so you know, we're going to have a major infectious disease problem from the rats.
Oh, good.
We had a big typhus outbreak this summer, and I said we have to have a typhus outbreak because of all the rats. But I mean, you've seen the rats.
Typhus?
We had a huge typhus outbreak.
Isn't that from the Middle Ages?
Endemic typhus, the epidemic typhus. This is endemic typhus.
Okay.
We have typhus in the foothills here.
Okay.
We've always had it in Pasadena and San Gabriel and whatnot. But when I saw the rat thing, I thought, oh, there's going to be a huge typhus outbreak. And there was. Huge.
Oh, my God.
What is typhus? Or
typhus is a rickettsial disease. It's sort of related to Rocky Mountain spotted fever. It's on the rats. And they get on your pets, and then they get on you. And that's it. And there will be other rat-borne illnesses because the rats are these vectors that send it out into the community. And there's things like Yersinia pestis that live on the rats. And eventually they hit a sufficient population where humans get the Yersinia. Oh, you may know that as plague, but that eventually is what happens.
Oh, cool.
And so there's a breakdown of civilization.
It's really bad in California, San Francisco.
Oh,
as
San
well.
Francisco, it's a carpet
Even
of
worse.
feces.
Worse.
Yeah.
It's worse in San Francisco.
Where does California rank as far as homelessness?
Number one.
Oh, really?
By far. Yeah, we're number one. Yeah.
We used to be the state that everybody wanted to come to, and we have just fallen apart in our infrastructure, in the homeless problem.
But we have a train to nowhere that we spent $97 billion on. Don't worry about anything.
And the housing just keeps getting more expensive.
We have a fast train, right?
I heard something
It's not a
about
fast
that.
train.
It's not fast.
Not one rail down, and they've spent tens of billions of dollars. I heard $90 billion they've spent already.
Was this the one that's supposed to get you from downtown to the airport in like 10 minutes?
No, it's supposed to get you from San Francisco to Los Angeles in 10 minutes, but
right.
it has 5 stops.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's-
crazy.
And none of it's laid down. It's like it's from Fresno to Bakersfield, and there's just a bunch of posts.
Is this the Musk one?
No, he was. Oh, you guys aren't aware where your tax dollars are going.
No, I
No,
have
Going
no
in this
idea.
train to nowhere.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's billions and billions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
billions. It's a boondoggle of just biblical proportions.
And it's not going to happen.
It can't.
Yeah.
They've just flushed billions of dollars down the toilet. And I'm all in favor of a fast train, but they don't. A, it's not fast. B, it's not. There's no possibility of completing it. So there you go.
Where is the money? Do you have any idea where the money is? People's pockets?
Somebody's pockets. Yeah.
Consultants and unions and and off it goes. Really, it's really corrupt. I mean, it's incredible that what we're doing in this state.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I have, I've got this dream of going to Oregon or to Washington, where you seem to light up.
I was just thinking about psilocybin. We were talking about psilocybin, didn't we, at the beginning?
Yeah.
They're about to legalize psilocybin up there. They're putting something on the ballot in 2020.
In Oregon.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't care that it's not legal, but that's cool. I mean, I think that it is a useful tool in cases for treating PTSD, and that came up at that conference I was talking about. Certainly with these vets coming home and just let alone coming home and having PTSD, but trying to get reacclimated into the world is very tough.
Oh, no kidding.
Because
terrible. And they hadn't been doing a lot of helping with that.
No.
Yeah.
And even, especially like the guys that have done multiple tours, they're used to having a goal and a mission. It's this simple, and this is my directive, and this is what I'm going to do. And they come home and they don't know what the fuck to do. And they're traumatized beyond the things that they've seen and gone through. And I believe that there's benefits to those kinds of medications, those alternative medications.
Sure. I mean, look, the fact that we don't study them is bizarre.
Yeah.
It's bizarre that we've decided molecules are evil.
Well, no,
That's
the
an
reason,
evil molecule.
The
over
reason
there.
why is because the pharma companies would rather sell you Lexapro.
No.
You don't think so?
It was all Nixon. Nixon decided that these were evil molecules. He created that whole structure.
The whole chart is made by
the structure
him.
of the
Classes.
scheduling of the drugs, and the idea of a Schedule 1 drugs that should not be touched by humans. That's the most bizarre notion on earth.
Right.
It's bizarre. This molecule is evil. No, it may have maybe problematic. It may have all kinds of untoward effects. And
It
maybe
can be
we'll find
misused.
Maybe we'll find a therapeutic value for it. But to say that scientists shouldn't touch it,
But you're
that's
talking
weird.
about
that's moral outrage, a moral
but
panic.
especially coming from an administration which was paranoid.
Oh yeah,
and illegal. Ran with illegal. I mean, that was the most until the Clinton thing. That was the first impeachment in my lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember it going down the White House. I mean, the Watergate thing. And so you're telling me that today
have you
in
seen the
2000
Clinton affair? That documentary?
Oh, it's so great.
Binged the whole thing. It was amazing.
Oh my God, I couldn't. When it ended, I was bummed. But there's a new documentary on Showtime called Enemies: The CIA and the
President, the FBI, and the CIA.
and it's on
Enemies.
Showtime, and it's I believe is it a Gibney? Alex Gibney does it. It was a great it's
What's
one of
it about?
those. Basically, the first episode was about the Nixon years. The next episode was about the Clinton years. I think they're going to work their way up to
What they're doing now is they're taking the current administration and comparing things that were said and done, and this happened and that happened, and where we're at now.
Interesting.
But think about that Clinton thing going down today.
Not only that, it's awfully familiar, isn't it? It's very similar
Yeah.
to what the kinds of things we're seeing today. But what was crazy to me was I thought I understood what was going on. I had no idea how bad it was.
No, me neither. Until I watched that documentary.
I was stunned.
It is shocking. I mean, at the time, do you remember watching it on court TV? Like, do you remember watching the testimony?
Loveline, the TV show, was in its first or second year of production, or maybe second or third year of production after all that. And we would watch it during breaks between shows.
How did the whole Loveline thing come about?
Should we play it for Drew and ask him?
Play the full one. We've been giving her shit.
What?
Last time you were here, something famous went down that you might not be
I
aware
owe
of.
your wife
You left away.
and you.
Play the full one.
I'm going to.
Full one.
He'll really understand
Let me.
how inappropriate this was.
It's become.
Was I here?
Yeah, you were. Well, it was Jessica was talking to you, and it's become part of our show lore.
It's vernacular.
I'll never live it down for the rest of my
I'm so
life.
happy to be part of this.
Well, you know how in your podcast you guys have little catchphrases that
Yes,
your
like you
audience
live and
knows.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has become one of ours. You started off by
great
saying
for a husband,
he
by the
was,
way.
Yes.
he was a nerdy doctor.
Yeah.
At what point? Because there was a time where he went from nerdy doctor to heartthrob of America.
I know. I can't believe it.
What,
I was totally right.
Was there ever a point where you were like, "What have I done?"
Thanks, honey.
No,
started
because it's refreshing. I mean, when people love him, it's better than if they ignore him.
For
like
sure.
he's obviously always popular, so it's nice. I mean, I got a little jealous sometimes, and hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
How did the whole Loveline thing come about?
In the middle of your wife getting serious, Jessica asked the most softball, awful high school question of all time.
All right, it's one she wanted answered.
It just happened.
So it turned into
But our
weeks of stuff, and it turned into
I
this.
got a little jealous sometimes, and hot chicks would hit on him and stuff.
How did the whole Loveline thing come about?
And it just went
We got
on and on.
He's got a million.
We have a
You
million.
got to get the Schitt's Creek music in there.
As soon as we told our people that you were coming on the show, everyone hit us with, ask them how the whole Loveline thing came about. It's become the most famous thing in the show's ever done.
Thing forever.
So good.
So you didn't. So when that was happening, you didn't watch the Clinton escapade on court TV. Remember court
No, we watched
TV?
it. We watched it. So it was playing. I remember on a little Sony Trinitron.
Yeah. I had a Trinitron
in a dressing room.
Can't believe you said that. I haven't thought of that.
And
in
it
forever.
was sort of. It seemed. I was only catching bits and pieces of it. It seemed.
Oh my
crazy.
God, it was so great, especially in those years when that thing was going on, and I was my drug addiction was still working, quote unquote working. Like it was killing me, but I thought it was working. And so to be that ramped up on that much coke, watching a guy go down and feeling like, thank God it's not me. That was the best. I can say that was the pinnacle of my using.
Max shot.
But I mean, this guy wouldn't stand a chance today.
Oh, I can't believe there's not a bigger reaction now.
I can't either, and I can't believe there's not a bigger reaction to Hillary's reaction.
And by the way, they did not dig that deeply into how much Hillary did to destroy those women.
I know.
How horrible she was to them.
Yeah, she really was, huh?
They were kind to her in the documentary, I thought.
They were.
And what I've heard, it was just horrible.
Which is interesting because I feel like that documentary, and Dr. Drew's talking about the Clinton affair, if you haven't seen it, and one of our listeners, Amber, texted me and said, you got to watch, this is up your alley. So I'm really grateful to you, Amber, for that, because it provided me with 6 to 8 hours of not thinking about self.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love that shit.
It was great because thinking about self leads to suffering, right? So give me the Clinton affair. But there's another thing, Race to the White House. If you throw that in the DVR, you might like that too.
All right, good.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm busy with Mrs. Maisel right now.
With,
With
we into that?
What is that? Do I need it?
Yeah, it's on
I'm
Amazon.
not sure
What is
it's
it?
Dave's thing. I'm not sure. You and I were. I got you.
Yeah,
But I'm not
it's
sure
great.
It's a Dave Navarro.
Is it
thing.
my thing?
It
don't
might.
know.
I think it might be.
You might like it.
What is it?
He would
It's
surprise you at what
premise?
he
like
likes.
a girl trying to navigate the stand-up world.
It's
But,
sort of
Oh.
loosely based on Joan Rivers. It's kind of
okay.
originally season 1 at least was sort of.
How did the whole Miss
loosely-
Maisel thing come
But
about?
I did like.
I
I did like that Showtime series about the comics.
I'm dying up here.
Oh, I love that.
That's
Love
fucking
that. I love that series.
That was one of my favorite shows
Yep,
in like the
me
last
too.
20 years.
very, very good.
Yeah.
I love
That
it.
and the Deuce.
The Deuce. I didn't get into the Deuce.
I watched
It's
the
good?
first few and then that kind of lost
It
me.
allows me to sort of dig into my hatred for the 70s.
I just watched it
I
for the
love it.
I just love the Merkins.
But see, here's the
what I
thing.
love.
James Franco, who is a very talented guy, by the way, he plays twins in that, right?
He's amazing.
And it's like this guy not only is in every other film that comes out, He's in this twice.
I'm going to take these 2 parts.
Like, enough already with this guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I didn't get into the Deuce, but I need a series to binge because I just finished the Clinton affair, and I just finished.
Did you watch Kidding?
Kidding. I finished.
Kidding's good.
Right.
Yeah, I liked Kidding.
I actually liked it. What did you think of that?
It's good. Little kind of weird for me, but Ginger Gonzaga, who played the girl with the cancer, is a friend of mine. So
Oh, really?
fully supportive.
Oh my God! Who just
Crushes him.
Crushes him.
Yes. But the dinner table.
Oh my God. But those days when the Clinton thing was going down and we had court TV and like that was a real special thing. But you're right, they didn't get into because at that time the Starr investigation was all about whether or not
Whitewater.
It was about
That was what's supposed to be about.
It was supposed to be about Whitewater. Then it got into all this stuff. Then it got into whether or not he perjured himself.
Right, the perjury trap. And I didn't know till I watched the documentary that they had a 2-year relationship. 2-year relationship where they were having phone sex all the time. Going over there and having sex. I just constant. I thought it was like a couple of outings,
Yeah.
No, this is 2 years of this.
Yeah. And for him to say that he didn't have any sexual relations and then come back and say, well, they didn't define the right understanding of sexual.
It depends what is.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest. That's up there with Senator.
You're
no Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, that's junkie lying.
It was.
You know what I mean?
It is junkie thinking.
Yeah.
It is.
Totally.
God, that's so good.
By his definition, I never had sex with my dad.
But yeah, man, I'm very concerned about where we're headed, and it's
weird.
It's weird, and tell me what you think, because I mean, I am literally on the fence between packing it up and moving out of state and deleting all my things, or sticking around another year because I do like to make money, and I only know one way to do it, and that is in the public space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't
blowing dudes.
But I don't love.
You beat me to it.
But I don't love the public space. Are you?
It's dangerous.
What's your relationship with it?
It's dangerous now.
Yeah.
And it's always been something that I've been relating to because I want to do something. I want to make a difference. And as you make me think about this in this way, my commitment gets even stronger because when the tough, it's tough times. Hey man, that's time to sack up for me, because I claim to want to be a person who wants to make a difference with media. So now it's on. Yeah. So it would be very hypocritical. I mean, it's appealing to get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah. But it would be sort of hypocritical. I mean, now's the time to step up a little bit. Right. So I plan to try to step up. Now, whether I can or not, or whether I can make a difference or not, or whether I'm get destroyed in the process, who knows?
You sure do. I mean, I know that I've been reached out to by a number of people who either my story or my book or whatever has helped them, and you've done, just years and years of service.
You hope, but now I just don't see what it is that we should be doing. I don't know yet.
It's weird too, because we're at a time where, on the one hand, you can't say anything without getting crucified, and then on the other hand, you have certain people that can say stuff, and they seem impervious to it.
Who do you think of?
Well, the writing's on the wall on that one, but we have
maybe like Trump himself.
Yeah, Trump himself, or just people of higher stature in that way.
Well, he gets crucified for everything he says.
Yeah, but not really.
But at the same time, he's also lifted up for the same exact thing.
Yeah. It's so divided that if you say something fucked up, you're gonna get lifted up to here by certain people and put down here.
Right.
But there is a difference, because certain people, in Hollywood or certain public figures, that they get pushed down and they stay down, and other people get pushed up and they stay up, no matter how much shit they get from the other side.
But those are the people who are expressing outrage at the one who's down.
Yes, and I would tell you that for the most part, if you have an employer, you got to be careful. Because if they come after you, the employer will want to get rid of you.
Yeah.
If you have your own business or something, like Corolla gets away with shit all the time because he's like, hey, I'm my own person doing my own podcast, and you can't touch me anymore.
Right.
Now it's difficult to tolerate all that attack.
And then there's him, and then there's Roseanne. Basically, right?
Exactly. Right. Roseanne, you lose their job for sure.
Yeah.
Instantly, immediately.
Or
Brian Williams, boom, instantly.
Oh my my God! But no, Brian Williams is back.
I know, but
sort of.
No, he's back.
Compared to where he was.
He would like to be where he was.
Yeah.
He's not where he was. That's for sure. That's for sure.
But
yeah, he's working and he's lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
But the point is well taken. It's you could you could lose your livelihood, and that's in terms of bringing out the guillotines, which is what we're doing. Losing your livelihood is just a step under losing your head.
Yeah.
It's in the Soviet Union they used employment much more often than they used prison or murder, because that's a very powerful and dangerous thing for people.
Interesting study I just saw on Wall Street is that on the heels of the Me Too movement,
they were told not to hire them, not to be around them, not to travel with them,
women can't get jobs on Wall Street.
Yeah, their legal advisors are telling them you cannot be alone with a woman, you cannot spend time with them, you cannot be seen traveling with a woman.
That's what happened.
I saw this coming
I did too. I
miles
saw
away.
it too.
Like, how could you not know that this was going to be?
I
one
absolutely
of the
agree with you. And now, if they're actually not hiring women, then they're going to have a discrimination problem. Then there will be a lawsuit. But if it's just that they're avoiding them, that's a subtler problem, because now they can't move up in the systems because the people in authority don't get to know them.
Right.
That's right.
That's horrible.
That's right.
I have a friend who's a lawyer, and he wanted to hire a woman to work with him, and he was told by someone, you have to hire 2 women so they're always together, so you never have one alone with you.
Oh my God.
So he was told to hire 2 just so they could have like a witness to each other.
Does that apply to prostitution? I got to get 2 now?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Sorry,
but luckily there's Groupons for
really
those.
sorry.
2 for 1.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God
there's
a solution.
There needs to be an equilibrium somewhere. I feel like it will achieve an equilibrium.
Guys also need to stop being scumbags, too.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah. That's the first step, I think.
No, I totally agree with that.
I mean, in the context of today's world, when you look at this Clinton thing, it takes your breath away. You can't believe people behave like that. And he said, "Oh yeah, that wasn't that long ago." Yeah,
And
we've
so
been putting up that forever.
What's scary about that is because there was a Clinton. There was one on Fox a couple months ago that was like a Clinton affair documentary. We watched that. And that was before the Clinton. So when it's this administration at this time with this administration and this many things going on with Trump, I mean, like this guy, all that stuff, like the grabbing the pussy and the Stormy Daniels stuff, like nothing, it just blows over. He just ignores shit and just people forget. And I think he knows that.
He goes on to the next outrageous thing.
And that's exactly the point I was just trying to make is like, how is it that this one gets away and this one gets completely destroyed?
Well, see, it's gotten to the point now with Trump that he can't take a breath without people expressing outrage. So it's almost like it's starting to fall on deaf ears a little bit, because when he does something truly outrageous, it's like, I've heard all the outrage. I've been hearing it all day and I don't want to hear it now again. But do you think that there was was that a partisan documentary that
the Clinton thing?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was very even keeled. It seemed like it. Yeah, because they could have gone very differently.
Because the first one that we watched was essentially like trying to say, see, Trump's not a bad guy. That's what they were trying to do.
Yeah. This Clinton thing, to me, I ended up with lots of mixed feelings. I had very mixed feelings about the OIG, the Office of Independent Counsel, OIC. I had very strange feelings about that. I had strange feelings about Monica and what she was up to and what was going on, and then I had horrible feelings about Clinton, and and then I had mixed feelings about Hillary.
Yeah,
I did not have
it was very back and forth.
And then, by the way, even the other accusers that then went along with Trump and later in the documentary series, it was kind of like, that was weird. I had not a lot of mixed, and they presented it to give you mixed feelings. So
yeah,
and that's fine with me.
But the funny thing is that out of the whole series, the biggest, most horrifying person in that whole thing, Linda Tripp. Yeah. What a horrible person, man, to do that to your friend.
And I felt like they didn't dig into that very much.
No.
They just skated right past that.
I mean,
except Monica, when you catch it, when she goes, as long as I didn't have to wear a wire. Remember that? She's I'll do anything but no wire, because I would never want to violate somebody like that.
Right. Yes.
And I thought,
and she was being recorded as she was. I mean, it's just it's crazy. But man, that I really got a lot out of that documentary. I mean, it was just riveting, and I think it destroys her chances in 2020 if she's thinking about it.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, is she even thinking about it?
I don't think so.
I mean,
what do they have to offer now?
I don't know.
You know, it's like we really are in a whole different place, and we need something different. I don't know who the hell it is or what it is.
I don't either. I think it should be Van Jones.
I love Van.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's
but
great.
Van, you know, even when he doesn't toe the party line, he said something. He at one point, if you remember, about a year ago, gave Trump a little nod, like good. He's like, I can agree with him doing that. He got destroyed.
Oh yeah.
I called him. I said, Van, I've been. You know, do you know my story with this?
No.
I don't want to think about it.
Oh, let's do it. This is for your healing.
Okay,
let it out.
So I was doing the HLN show back then, and I used to do a lot of CNN, and it was during the election, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. I'm very moderate. I can kind of see everyone's points of view and things. That's sort of
I'm a registered independent.
Me
so
too.
I'm with you.
And I was on Don Lemon's show, and he was like, "What is up with Trump?" And I'm like, "Well, I started describing how businessmen are sometimes hypomanic and they're often narcissistic, and he's got all these features and all the things we know him for sure to be." You know, I was like, "That's what this is, and that's what you're seeing." And then I would say things like, "Well, I don't know. History is too complex for me." In other words, Theodore Roosevelt was a narcissistic maniac, total bipolar, complete maniac. One of my favorite presidents. So I don't know that's what they are, but it feels dangerous, and maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. What do I know? So I have a radio show at KBC at 790 and at KGO in San Francisco. And I went on my radio show the next day, and my program director grabbed me and goes, "Hey, I like what you were saying about Trump last night. Would you mind doing 30 seconds on that for our website?" So I sat down, I did hypomania and narcissism and difference between malignant narcissism and just big narcissism. And he goes, great. And I was getting up, walking away, and he goes, "Why don't you do 30 seconds on Hillary too, just to balance it out?" And I go, "You know what? They just released her medical records. And her medical care is shitty. There was some real serious problems with her medical care.
Really?
Oh my God. So I did 30 seconds on it and didn't think anything of it. Drudge Report picks it up and puts it as a headline as, "Finally, a physician says she's unqualified for office."
Oh my God.
That's the headline. And her people came down on me like a ton of fucking bricks. Like I felt like there was a mafia team. It was bizarre. And HLN and CNN went nuts. I mean, nuts, like silenced me. And that was the last time I was on CNN.
So you're telling me that CNN and HLN and the Clinton machine
you've seen what's going on these days with CNN, right?
Yeah.
How they change direction.
About the immigration,
everything. But now HLN had already about 3 weeks before that determined they were going to stop my show. So then they stopped. So 3 weeks later, we stopped the show and we just canceled the show. And the whole world went, "Oh my God, you see, it's because he said these things." And I said, "Hey, let me get up and set the record straight that we'd already decided to stop it. Yes, you weren't happy with what I said, but it has nothing to do with losing the show." Their response was, "Shut up. Just shut up. Don't say a thing." Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was intense.
But I mean, so you're talking HLN, CNN, the Clinton machine silencing you. Your God-given American freedom.
And by the way, all I was saying, I was giving I was discussing the care rendered by my peers.
Yeah, it had nothing
Here's
to
the
do
problem.
with her.
Let me tell you the problem. She had something called a transverse sinus thrombosis. You ever heard of that? You have these 3 big veins in your skull, and you can get a clot in them. Exceedingly rare. It was part of when she hit her head, remember?
Yes.
Associated with that, she had a stroke.
Does it happen as a result of an injury, or can it
rarely? But when it does, it's usually a sign of hypercoagulability, that there's something wrong with your coagulation system. And she had a stroke. Remember, she was wearing those glasses with well, that's because she has what's called intranuclear ophthalmoplegia, and her eyes weren't moving right because of a stroke. So she had a stroke and a transverse sinus thrombosis, exceedingly rare. And I was looking at her care, and I'm like, oh my God, they have her on Armour thyroid, which is an old-fashioned, like desiccated cow thyroid associated with hypercoagulability.
Yeah.
And they were treating her with an old-fashioned blood thinner called Coumadin that you normally would use, like Xarelto and things. Yeah. But Coumadin's okay, but I was like, I'm not sure that they're using old-fashioned medicine. I just was critical of their care.
Right.
And by the way, after I did that, the doctors actually responded very appropriately. They immediately got a hematology consult. They responded to everything I said almost like it was an interrogatory.
Wow.
And they sort of lined things up a little bit better. They still kept her on the thyroid, not because she's hypothyroid, because she wanted more energy.
Right.
So the doctors that's another sign that the doctors are letting the patient dictate the care when you have a special patient and you're sort of turned on by taking care of Hillary Clinton. Oh, Miss Clinton, I'll make you feel better. Here's some thyroid. They may be causing that problem. I still believe it could be causing the problem. So then she had and she was, there was just multiple things going on that concerned me. That's all I said. I was concerned. I didn't like the care she was getting.
Yeah.
They'd released a medical record. I was analyzing the record. I didn't say anything about her qualifications for presidency.
Wow. I mean, if you look at Kennedy, who was one of the sickest presidents we ever had.
He was just straight up drug addict.
Was that right?
Addison's, opiates. You
Really?
get hypoadrenal, hypotestosterone. You hear patients talk about it all the time.
But he had
what a great life he had.
He had back issues, and
what chronic opioid user doesn't have back pain?
I still have
you know
back
what they were
pain.
doing to deal with the fatigue from the opioids?
What's that?
Meth.
Oh, good.
They were giving him straight up amphetamine.
Speedballing.
He was speedballing.
Kennedy
And if he had
speedballing.
lived another couple of years, who knows what would have happened?
I know.
Right? So that was all doctor induced. And the same doctor that was giving him that, Marilyn Monroe, was the guy that came out here and gave all the people that died of drug addiction out here. Same dude.
What's that guy's name?
I can't remember.
But it's not Noguchi.
What's his number?
Not Noguchi.
It's not Noguchi, right?
Noguchi was the coroner at the time.
Yeah, the coroner.
whom
Okay.
I've had major beef with. I literally was on a documentary on John Belushi. If you've ever seen this documentary, it shows up once in a while. Aykroyd's in it.
I've seen it. Yeah.
And Noguchi's in it. And Noguchi, we were waiting in a waiting room together, and I'm like, oh man, he's just, this is a drug addiction. He goes, oh no, he's not a drug addict. I go, what do you mean he's not a drug addict?
Belushi?
Shooting speedballs. Yes. And he goes, oh no, he was just experimenting and somebody shot him up that way that day and didn't know what they were doing. I was like, what the
That's crazy.
No wonder we don't know why Marilyn Monroe died. And he does not have any clinical judgment about drug addiction at all. Doesn't have any knowledge. And I fought with him. He's like, absolutely no way John Belushi's an addict.
Have you seen, being a doctor and having...
Is that incredible?
And having
That's
that
insane.
kind of access, have you seen...
People that know, he was the coroner. He was for LA County.
A lot of people say he was the last person to sleep with Marilyn Monroe, if you know what I mean.
Oh, dude.
You can't really blame the guy. Come on.
She was on...
I just accuse him of not understanding drug addiction at all. And why should he? He's a pathologist. They
Right,
never
but
take care of drug
but
addicts.
doesn't that affect the postmortem...
Diagnosis, yes, of course. That's why, again, why we don't know what Marilyn Monroe really died of. We don't really know what happened there. Somebody who really understood addiction could put all the pieces together.
Right.
They were shooting her up with Demerol and stuff. Ugh, terrible.
We're not that terrible.
It's horrible.
The first couple of days is not so bad. But
Demerol's for lightweights.
I'm sorry to have you in here, and I know that you're
sorry to have me.
to have it be all political, but
I prefer this direction from the downers conversation we were about to have.
Well, I didn't think of it.
Let me talk about how the whole love line thing happened.
I didn't think of it as
Let's
a
start
downer.
from the beginning.
As a downer, as much as just realistic. Because people do suffer. I suffer a lot of
seasonal affective.
Season stuff is really hard for me because I don't have my own family.
Thing, the days are shorter and light less.
I don't have kids, so I can't traumatize them.
Where do you go? Holidays?
I go back to my family's house, and I don't.
By yourself?
Yeah, I'm not bringing anybody in there. I can't do it.
But you come and do stuff with the kids and stuff.
Oh no, I go to your house afterwards, but that's not traumatizing for me. For me, going back to the family and having to visit that dysfunction again is tricky. It's tricky, and I have to give myself, okay, dude, you can do 2 hours.
This is your dad and your stepmom? Is that how it works? Who
I adore and love, but it's just they have their rhythm and I have mine, and they're very different.
So you have to psych yourself out a little bit in a way before you go into the...
So when I went to Thanksgiving, I was like, okay, here it is. It's 4:00. Stay until 6:30.
Do you ever find yourself standing outside the door being like, all right, you can do this. Just knock on just go in. Just go in.
No, but I give myself what I feel like is a good amount of time to be of service, but I'm still taking care of my own needs. You know what I mean?
The way why I think about it with those kinds of family issues is you go and you do what you need to do for yourself to be a good son.
That's right.
Not to you're going to get anything out of it.
No.
You expect nothing out of it, but you go to do what you need to do to be a good son for
It's
you.
It's a preemptive strike against future guilt.
It's great.
Yeah, I hate to think of it that way, but okay.
But that's what it is.
That's what it is. Because I am not going to be standing over a grave one day going, God, I should have shown up to that Christmas.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a little dark?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how to put it in a better place for you. Again, it's about you, what you need to do for you to be a good son.
Yeah.
Now what you need to do for them, because that's guilt.
Oh, that's what I thought you meant. That's what I thought you were referring to, is doing it for your family.
No, you do it for you.
Right.
What do you need to do to fulfill what you think you need to do to be
and that's what I
good
think.
son?
And I give myself a reasonable timeline that I know I can do and handle, and I don't extend beyond it, because then I'm not taking care of self.
Right.
I'm now in a codependent situation.
Yes.
Do they guilt you when you want to leave?
A little bit.
Dave, so soon.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you do?
I'm like, hey, gotta go. I got to
got
drive
shit to
home.
do.
It take me an hour to drive home. I got to get going.
Yep.
But it's all good. I mean, this thing. I went into Thanksgiving this year with that attitude, and I had a great time.
Oh, nice.
So
So who knows?
It could be great.
Again, that attitude of gratitude. If you can find gratefulness anywhere, look for it, find it, express it. I'm telling you, that's what's missing right now.
A little while ago when we were on tour a couple years ago, Dave, I worked for him on tour, and he had me put stickers on his pedal board, and one of them says gratitude. So a constant reminder of being grateful. So
actually, last time I saw you, you were swinging from hooks.
That's right. Came to that.
You freaked me the hell
to
out.
that.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Did you know that was going to happen?
No. God, no. And I didn't realize the women were hanging by hooks either. I thought they had a harness on or something.
No. They went
And then
for
I
it.
saw you backstage getting your scapulas sewn up or whatever they did. It troubled me.
Is that the first time you saw that?
Yes.
Did it actually trouble you?
Yes.
Why? I can tell you the benefits of it.
There are benefits?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, it's a very ceremonial thing that's thousands of years old, and the Indians used to do
Yes.
it. The Sundance thing. They used to do it from the chest.
But they would do it rarely.
Well, they would do it at a certain age.
Right. You
And
do it as
then-
a ceremony of transition.
Rite of
But
passage.
they're
to
doing
manhood.
it as a recreational show.
To look cool.
No, it ain't about looking cool, because you leave your body at that point, you know. So, but there's an endorphin and adrenaline rush.
So those are
comes-
my two concerns. I had two concerns. One was that the tissue was going to tear and you're going to fall.
Right.
And the second was that you're going to get high. Because you can
from the endorphins,
from all that,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
a little
there-
bit excessive,
there is.
and I worry that you could start thinking about whatever.
Well, I don't equate that endorphin rush with a druggy feeling.
I know, but it can sometimes get your thinking going. You know what I mean? Your stinking thinking going.
Yeah, and
and
I'm certainly a victim of that. I mean, but no, I've been doing it for many, many years, and it's always in a safe, clean, there's a lot of preparation and
Did they
training.
put something in there?
Yeah, it's a piercing. It's like
is it a bar or something?
It's like a bar. And
how do they know what as I'm having this big conversation with myself backstage? How do they know that you have sufficient tissue to handle the weight? There's no calculation you can do.
I don't know.
You
I'm
seen
not
them do that?
I'm not a pro piercer. But I've never seen that happen, and I've seen thousands of these things.
Okay.
And there's conventions and trainings, and there's a whole biohazard system in place, so you're not touching anything.
Oh no, I don't worry about that.
But people do tear out sometimes.
People tear out on purpose.
What?
Well, sometimes not on purpose.
What do you mean?
I've never seen it happen.
You did once.
Yeah, but that's
that was on
usually
purpose.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. But yes, okay.
one. It's on purpose because I've seen it with people who do it on purpose. The other reason, it's not the tissue or skin tearing; it's because the hook has bent and slid out.
Oh, all right.
That's right.
Because certain
But
ones
still,
are hooks
you're
and certain
50
ones
feet
are
up
bars.
there. That's going to be a terrible fall.
I know it is. I know it is. And I guess there's, in some regards, there is the thrill factor of, I don't know how this is going to go. We'll see, and especially and I've never done it in a live setting like that. That was the first time.
Wow.
So that was.
Where do you normally do it? For videos and stuff? Or?
No, we do it at my house. For fun. This past summer, every weekend I had a party.
You got to have Drew over to one of the parties sometime.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You should see it in
I'll
person.
be such a downer.
No. It's
Like, no.
Grandpa Drew is here.
But yeah, every week over the summer we had people over and doing it over the pool, and yeah, it's recreational, and there's a community around it, and I think that's really what it is.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not cool.
Yeah,
that's not my point at all. It's cool.
It's dangerous,
but
for sure.
As a doctor, I just got freaked out.
Yeah, of course. A buddy of mine hung from his knees from a helicopter. Oh my God! So he went up in a helicopter and was tied up, and then cut the ropes in the air and fell down just on the hooks on his knees.
And parachuted down.
Yeah, and parachuted down. It was pretty amazing.
Forgive me for not being so excited about that.
I'm going to send you pictures that'll
just think about all the shit
scar
that
you
could go
forever.
down.
Anything going on that you want to promote or that you're doing?
No, just my website, drdrew.com, and everything's there. Just doing a lot of podcasting now, I maybe get a YouTube. We're getting some stuff going. It's all going to be sort of digital stuff.
Okay. Now, the podcast world, which I guess we're a part of, is that right?
Technically, yeah.
That's what this sort of whole thing is here.
Well, this goes out live.
Yeah,
so
no,
if
I know.
you want to take the phone, that's what I like about it, because I started at Indy with Jessica at Indy 103.1.
I see Jonesy every day now.
Yeah, you do. And that's where I got my start in the radio business, and then the podcast business took over. Do you think traditional radio, television, all that stuff is just going away?
No.
You don't?
I think much like AM radio didn't go away when FM radio came around, these are just different platforms, and there are different relationships that people have with these different mediums. And it's just more mediums, more diversity, more platforms, more material for people to access. But nothing's going away.
Yeah, I mean, It
may consolidate a little bit, like you may see things in multiple places.
Right.
But people relate to it differently. People come to podcasts to hang out.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
Sort of hang out with you. They hang out in long form conversations and things they want to kind of learn about. Radio they got that rhythm and callers and commercials.
And it goes on and off. You're in and out of it as the audience.
Absolutely. There's something different about grabbing something out of a broadcast through the air, grabbing onto it when you're in your car or whatever, and then going away from it, as opposed to seeking out a podcast and hanging out with it for a while.
So as someone who does interviews, do you prefer the short form 5-10 minutes, or do you prefer to come in for an hour and a half? And
me, if I'm the object of the interview, I prefer, whether I'm the interviewer or the interviewee, to be at long form. But I'm willing to do short form. I mean, that's a skill set, and it's something most people don't listen for that long. I mean, that's how you get more people, more ears, the information.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. My friend here, Gala, asked on the way in, what are we going to be talking about tonight? I was like, I don't know.
Hanging out.
Yeah. He's conversational.
You know what I mean? That's like, I'm not going to ask medical questions. I don't prepare. Do you prepare? You have to a little bit.
Sometimes, not much usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll read a book or something beforehand, but usually, and plus my thing is I'm interested in the person. I want to hear their life, their relationship, how, what
exactly.
happened.
And I don't want to hear them tell me the stuff I looked up.
Exactly. I can look it up.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear bullshit like, how did the whole Love Lines thing come about?
The best.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you listened to Slow Burn?
What's that?
That podcast. There was one on the Watergate, and now they're doing one, I think, on the Clinton thing. It's a podcast about, I guess, administrations, and the Nixon one is just. Oh, well, I wanted to ask you. So you're telling me that a Nixon bill or law,
1972,
something that he put into place.
Oh yeah, that's what create all the schedules.
Is
and stuff.
affecting studies now that can help people in 2018?
Yes. It's affecting the whole entire prison system and everything because of how the drugs are scheduled.
Yeah.
Which is why you have so many marijuana users in prison and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all Nixon.
Well, I went to that criminal justice reform summit that Van spoke at, and they're making a lot of changes, which is great.
Yes, it's happening.
It is happening. Yep. But the interesting thing is, and I went with Deborah Tate, who's Sharon Tate's sister.
I know Deborah well.
Yeah, and we were both sitting there thinking about, okay, that's really nice that the government's going to put all this money into rehabilitating convicts, and that's cool. But there should be still a government entity or something that's providing assistance for the victims of these crimes, if there were, if it's a murderer or if it's a rapist, some kind of traumatic healing. I would love to see that in place, because if we're going to spend tax dollars on rehabilitating convicts, which I'm totally cool with, and anybody who's got a weed possession charge should just be let the fuck out because it's legal. It's whatever. But that's the one thing we were pushing for, is just like a little bit of,
hard to argue with that.
A little balance, But it's late.
I listen to the nerdiest podcasts on earth.
What do you listen to?
I listen to philosophy podcasts. Almost, if you saw our podcast, you'd be like,
I don't know if that I do too. I mean,
but like real, like nerdy academic philosophy. They ever partially examined life? Anyone listen to that?
No, I'm listening to that.
I listen to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, the most. What was I talking about? The last time I was on, I was talking about Terence McKenna's psychedelic ape theory.
What's this?
About how when we were pre-humanoids, and that when we came out of the trees and had to walk on the land, that's when we discovered mushrooms, because they would grow in the cow dung, and then the apes would eat through the cow dung, and they would get these mushrooms, and it was just enough to create new neural pathways that started a chain reaction of evolution.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's a theory. It's a theory.
I think it's going to be something a little different.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because that is sort of post-genetic. That's epigenetic. You know what I mean? That's like you're fostering neuronal growth. You're not fostering genetic change.
Right.
And
but he's saying that there was this minimal amounts over like 100
I know, but
years.
we have a whole layer in our cortical system of cells that no other animal system has.
Yeah, I've said that many times.
So.
Drew just crushed your fucking theory.
No.
bro.
It just no. Who knows?
I don't know. All right. Well, Dr. Drew is here. You can catch him. Go to drdrew.com. You can catch him on KBC. You can listen to his podcast live. You guys have cameras in there too, right?
No.
Not anymore?
Just radio. The ABC studio? No.
No, the podcast.
Oh, with Corolla?
Yeah.
I do some. Oh, you were on. Well, yes.
No,
we do some on Facebook Live, and we're going to be doing them on YouTube. And you came on This Life podcast with me and Bob Forrest very kindly. Thank you. And we do record that one sometimes, yes.
Yeah,
we're usually recording.
We're just, as you can see, we're just putting our big toe into
it's good.
The streaming aspect.
Yeah, it's
of
a great.
all.
People like being able to drop in, and you can just keep it up there, put it on Instagram, and put it on Facebook, and it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have 3 minutes left, so let's just get out of here now. Dr. Drew, thanks so much for coming back down.
Thanks for having me. Someday I'll come back and tell you all about how the Loveline thing happened.
We have that kind of time.
Yes.
All right, guys. I'm not here next week.
Neither are we. We have one more show in the year.
Who's on that show?
John Heilman from the circus.
Great. That'll be amazing.
None of us are here. I'm going with you, so we're not here.
But we're
next
here
week?
for the circus interview.
The 19th.
Yes, but
and
next
then
week,
we're off for a while.
Okay.
Next week.
Well, I'm off it for 3 months.
Which
I
means
can
we're
put
off,
it out there to our listeners. You can possibly even request what you want to hear next week.
What do you mean? Oh, as far as a rerun?
Repeat episode.
Interesting.
Yeah. Guest wise.
But isn't that still just in the list of podcasts? They can just go listen to it anytime.
Well,
they
can listen to it then too.
We also have a bunch of old shows we could throw to.
That's right.
We have the Vault we could throw to.
Yeah, but we have to go through that.
But is the Vault the non-PC one that I made you take down?
No. I mean, our old shows from the beginning of Dark Matter,
dude,
10 years ago.
When all this shit was going down and like the Me Too movement was like at the pinnacle of all of its stuff, I was like, guys, we got to pull all those shows down right now. Pull them down. I was freaking. I mean, it's just like it was scary. And you could.
It was you were hysterical. Understandably,
you could dig through some show and find something off color that I said. And out of context, it would just be
that any of us said.
Even in content, people don't like humor anymore. You're not allowed to really be funny.
No.
But we'll keep trying.
And what about this Neil deGrasse Tyson thing?
But he's welcoming an investigation. That's all.
He is.
Yeah, he said, please go all the way with this and let the facts speak for themselves.
I thought of a great line that I was going to use. That was a picture of Neil deGrasse Tyson and him saying, "See, I was right. We're all connected by our shame. We all live with shame and secrets." All right, Dr. Drew, thank you so much. We will not be back next week, but thanks for being here, and we love you.